Every man has felt it at some point. That frustrating imbalance where he's the one chasing, calling, proving while she's deciding whether he's worth her time. Let me flip that on its head. What if women are meant to chase you? Not because you trick them with cheap pickup lines, but because you understand how the mind works, how attraction is built, and how scarcity creates value. That's exactly what we're talking about today. Psychological tricks that make any woman chase you. Welcome to the channel, brothers. This isn't about hate, bitterness, or pretending you don't care. It's about clarity. It's about understanding that in relationships, power isn't given. It's claimed. And the men who know how to stand in their value without begging, without chasing, without handing out constant validation become the men women pursue. Here's where it gets controversial. Society conditions men to believe their role is to endlessly prove themselves. Take her out, spend the money, send the good morning texts, constantly reassure her. But have you noticed how often that backfires? The more you give, the less she respects it. The harder you try, the faster she pulls away. Why? Because human psychology doesn't reward what comes too easily. Women don't chase comfort. They chase excitement, challenge, and the feeling of winning a man who doesn't need them. And when you tap into this, everything changes. You stop being the guy waiting for her attention, and you become the one she can't stop thinking about. So in this video, I'll break down 7 proven psychological shifts that put you in control. Subtle but powerful moves that make her invest in you, work for you, and most importantly, chase you. Let's get into it. Make her prove you one. Make her prove you. Most men enter dating with the wrong mindset. They believe they need to prove themselves to a woman. They think attraction is by showcasing their achievements, buying gifts, or bending over backward to make her happy. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When you try to prove yourself, you automatically place her on a pedestal and lower your own value in her eyes. You're saying, without words, "You're above me, and I'm hoping you'll approve of me." That's not attraction, that's desperation. Instead, flip the script. Attraction grows when she feels like she has to earn your attention. When you stop auditioning for her approval, something shifts in the dynamic. Suddenly, she starts questioning whether she measures up to you. And that's where the chase begins. Think of it like this. When you walk into a luxury store, you don't expect the items to beg you to buy them. They sit there with quiet confidence, knowing their worth, and you're the one who wonders if you can afford them. The same principle applies with women. When you carry yourself as a man who knows his value, who doesn't need to be chosen to feel complete, she senses it, and that aura makes her want to prove that she's good enough for you. The key here isn't arrogance, it's posture. It's about calmly holding yourself as the prize and not rushing to convince her of anything. If she shows interest, great. If she doesn't, you don't lose anything. That's powerful because it communicates abundance. A man who isn't desperate radiates options, and options are magnetic. Women are used to men chasing, overcompensating, and putting them on a throne. When you refuse to play that game, you stand out instantly. You're no longer one of the many men trying to earn her. You're the rare man making her wonder if she's earned you. And once she starts chasing, you've shifted the entire balance of power in your favor. Silence over texts. 2. Silence over texts. One of the fastest ways a man kills attraction is by drowning a woman in attention through constant texting. Men believe that by keeping the conversation alive, sending good morning messages, or replying instantly, they're showing interest. But what actually happens is very different. He removes all mystery, all tension, and all challenge. In her mind, if she knows exactly when you'll reply and what you'll say, she no longer has to think about you. Predictability is comfortable, but it's also boring, and boredom destroys attraction. Silence, on the other hand, is powerful. It creates space in her mind, and in that space grows curiosity. When you don't text her every hour of the day, she begins to wonder, what is he doing? Who has his attention? Why isn't he chasing me like every other guy? That uncertainty is the fuel of attraction, because people don't chase what they already fully have. They chase what feels slightly out of reach. This doesn't mean you should play games, ignore her completely, or act cold. It means your life should come first, not your phone. Your work, your goals, your gym sessions, your friends, these should all take priority. When she sees that you don't need constant communication, she begins to value the moments you do reply. Every message becomes more meaningful because it isn't guaranteed. That's the difference between a man she respects and a man she uses for validation. Think of silence as a magnet. When you're not flooding her with words, you give her space to invest. You make her reach out first. You let her wonder if she still has your attention, and that wonder makes her chase. Too many men ruin this dynamic by over-explaining, over-exting, and suffocating the spark before it even has the chance to grow. A man who masters silence is a man who controls the pace of the connection. He knows that attraction isn't about quantity of communication, it's about quality and timing. Every pause you allow, every moment of silence you hold, builds tension. That tension makes her crave your next move. So remember this, your silence is not weakness, it's a tool. Used correctly, it separates you from the crowd of needy men and places you in the rare category of men who truly understand psychology. And once you do, she won't just wait for your texts, she'll chase them. Be the prize 3, be the prize. Most men grow up with the belief that women are the prize to be won. Movies, music, and even social norms push the idea that a man's worth is measured by how well he can impress a woman. But here's the reality. The moment you put her above you, you've already lost. The man who wins in relationships is the one who sees himself as the prize, the one worth chasing, earning, and holding on to. Being the prize doesn't mean arrogance. It doesn't mean you treat women poorly or act like you're better than them. It means you carry yourself with the confidence that you bring value to the table. You're not desperate for her validation because your life is already full of purpose, discipline, and ambition. You know that any woman who enters your world is stepping into something valuable. That posture changes everything because women can sense whether a man sees himself as worthy or as needy. Think about it. Confidence makes her want to prove she deserves you. So stop acting like she's the trophy. Flip the mindset. You are the one with a life worth chasing, a man with standard and a future that demands respect. When you truly embody that, you won't have to chase women. They'll be the ones chasing you. Starve her certainty. Fourth, starve her certainty. One of the most powerful psychological forces in attraction is uncertainty. The moment a woman knows exactly where she stands with you, when she's certain she can have you whenever she wants, the chase is over. Certainty kills curiosity, and without curiosity, there's no excitement, no spark, no reason for her to invest energy into winning you. Take Mark, for example. He was in a long-term relationship and thought the way to keep his girlfriend happy was by constantly reassuring her. Every day he told her how much he loved her, replied instantly to every text, and made it clear she never had to doubt his feelings. At first, she appreciated it, but over time, something shifted. The more certain she became of his devotion, the less interested she felt. The relationship grew stale. Not because Mark didn't care, but because he gave her no reason to wonder, no challenge to rise to. He made himself too predictable. Contrast that with a man who understands the power of starving certainty. He doesn't mean ignoring her or playing cruel games. Instead, he leaves room for her to question, does he miss me as much as I miss him? What's on his mind? Am I doing enough to keep his attention? That uncertainty sparks her desire to invest more effort. She'll text first. She'll plan dates. She'll dress up just to impress him because she's working to secure her place in his world. Humans value what isn't guaranteed. A man who keeps a healthy level of unpredictability by focusing on his goals, maintaining his independence, and not over-explain. His every move becomes a man she chases. She doesn't want the guy who's always available, always predictable, always desperate to reassure. She wants the man who makes her wonder just enough to keep the fire alive. This is why the strongest relationships still have an edge of mystery. A man who starves certainty keeps attraction burning because he never hands himself over completely. He gives love, he shows care, but he also protects his individuality and keeps her working for his attention. Mark eventually learned this the hard way. When he pulled back, focused on his own growth, and stopped showering his girlfriend with endless reassurance, her behavior changed. Suddenly, she was calling more, trying harder, and chasing him the way she hadn't in years. By starving her certainty, he reignited her desire. Remember this: women don't chase guarantees, they chase possibilities. Leave her with just enough doubt to remind her that your love is valuable, and she'll chase it harder than ever. Confidence over approval. 5. Confidence over approval. One of the biggest mistakes men make in relationships and dating is constantly seeking a woman's approval. They shape their words, their actions, even their decisions around what they think will please her. At first it looks harmless, complimenting her excessively, agreeing with everything she says, or avoiding conflict just to keep her happy. But underneath, it communicates one dangerous message: I need your validation to feel good about myself. That's weakness, and women can sense it instantly. Think about the wrongs most men commit here. A woman says she's busy, and he replies, "That's okay. I'll wait for you all night." She tests him with a joke or a small disagreement, and he folds immediately, saying, "You're right. I shouldn't have said that." She pulls back her attention, and he compensates by pouring in double the EF. Fought, thinking he can win her back with approval. Instead of making her feel more attracted, all of this drains her respect. She sees a man willing to bend, to compromise his backbone, to sacrifice his own value for her comfort. And deep down, no woman chases a man like that. Now, what's the right way? The answer is simple, but powerful. Confidence. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance or aggression. It means standing firm in who you are without needing her constant reassurance. When she says she's busy, a confident man doesn't whine or wait around. He says, "No problem, I'll be out with my boys tonight. Hit me up when you're free." That communicates independence. When she teases him, instead of shrinking, he teases back playfully, showing he's not rattled by her tests. That communicates strength. And when she pulls back, instead of chasing harder, he mirrors her energy and lets her wonder if she's losing him. That communicates value. Confidence tells her, "I don't need you to validate me. I already know my worth." That's magnetic. It forces her to lean in, to invest, and to prove herself to you. Approval-seeking, on the other hand, tells her you're unsure of yourself, and no woman chases uncertainty in a man. So here's the lesson. Stop asking for permission with your words and actions. Replace people-pleasing phrases with firm, self-assured ones. Don't say, "Is this okay with you?" Say, "This is what I'm doing. You're welcome to join me." Don't say, "I hope I didn't upset you." Say, "I said what I meant." The difference may seem small, but it shifts the entire power dynamic. Confidence creates attraction. Approval-seeking kills it. The sooner you embody this, the sooner you'll stop chasing women and start watching them chase you. Pull back power 6. Pull back power. There's a psychological shift that happens when you stop giving endless attention. She starts to wonder, and that wonder fuels desire. Most men never learn this because they've been conditioned to believe that more effort equals more love. They think if they just give her more time, more attention, more energy, she'll finally give back the affection they crave. But the reality is the opposite. Over-investing makes her take you for granted, while pulling back makes her chase harder. Let's be clear, pulling back isn't about manipulation, it's about balance. If you're always available, always calling first, always rearranging your schedule for her, you're silently teaching her that your time isn't valuable. She starts to expect your attention, not earn it, and the second something is expected, it loses value. Now, imagine this. You've been seeing a woman and she's gotten used to you texting every night before bed, but one night you don't. Instead, you're out with your friends, you're focused on your workout, or you're grinding toward your goals. The next day, she notices the shift. She may not say it outright, but her mind starts racing. Why didn't he text? What was he doing? Is he losing interest? That curiosity makes her move toward you. She'll reach out more, put in effort, and even chase the attention she once took for granted. This principle works even in long-term relationships. A woman respects a man who keeps his independence. When you pull back, not in anger, not with drama, but with calm focus, you remind her that your world doesn't revolve around her. You had a life before she came in, and you'll continue to have one with or without her. That posture keeps attraction alive because she never feels like she has you completely locked down. The mistake most men make is fearing that pulling back will push her away. But the truth is, if a woman loses interest the moment you stop flooding her with energy, she was never genuinely invested to begin with. A woman who values you will lean in harder when she feels the shift. She'll want to secure her place in your life. Pulling back is power because it forces her to decide whether she's willing to meet you halfway. You are no longer carrying the full weight of the connection. You're inviting her to chase. And when she chases, the dynamic changes. She invests, she values, and she respects you more deeply. So, stop being afraid of silence. Stop being afraid of creating space. Pull back with confidence and watch how quickly the balance of power shifts in your favor. Less attention, more respect. 7. Less attention, more respect. Here's a hard truth most men don't want to accept. Giving a woman constant attention doesn't make her respect you more, it makes her value you less. Respect and attraction aren't built on how much time you pour into her, but on how much discipline you have to control that attention. When every message, every call, and every free moment is directed her way, she doesn't see it as love. She sees it as weakness. And weakness never inspires respect. Think about it. If you spend all day checking on her, complimenting her, and making sure she knows you're available, what's left for her to earn? Nothing. She already has it all without effort, and when something is too easy, human nature says it can't be worth much. That's why men who give unlimited attention are rarely chased. They've already given the prize away before she's even proven herself. Now, let's flip the script. A man who gives less attention forces her to value what she does get. When you're selective with your energy, when your time is clearly divided between your goals, your friends, your work, and your personal growth, she begins to see that being with you isn't automatic. It's a privilege. And privileges are earned, not handed out freely. This doesn't mean ignoring her completely or being cold. It means you make her work for your attention instead of flooding her with it. For example, instead of replying instantly to every text, you take your time because you're genuinely busy. Instead of cancelling your plans to see her, you keep your commitments and let her fit into your world. Instead of showering her with endless praise, you give compliments sparingly at moments when she's actually earned the M. Suddenly, every text, every meeting, every compliment carries more weight because it isn't routine. It's rare. Here's the beauty of this. Women respect men they have to earn. They respect men who set boundaries, who value their own time, and who don't give away their focus just to avoid upsetting someone. By giving less attention, you make her rise to the occasion. She'll start putting in more effort, chasing your approval, and respecting the fact that you don't belong to her. You belong to yourself first. Respect always precedes love. If she doesn't respect you, she won't truly chase you. And the fastest way to build that respect is to stop treating your attention like a discount store and start treating it like gold. The less you hand it out, the more she values it. And the more she values it, the harder she works to keep it. So remember, attention is powerful, but only when it's controlled. Give less and you'll gain far more than you ever thought possible. Attraction. Conclusion isn't about chasing, begging, or proving yourself. It's about positioning yourself as the man worth chasing. Every principle we've covered, from making her prove herself to using silence to giving less attention, shifts the balance of power in your favor. Women don't want a man they can walk over. They want a man who commands respect without saying a word. When you understand these psychological dynamics and live them out, you stop being the one who runs after women, and instead you become the man they compete for, the prize, the challenge, the one she'll chase.